go. Here we go. Hello, everyone. All right. Hey, Ben. Bup, 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 bup. Woo! It's 8 o'clock. It's time to have some fun. It's time to talk about Cybertruck. I already had a little bit of whiskey, but I'm gonna put a little bit more in here. A little bit of the Woodford. Can you guys see my? It's like a, you can't tell in the video, but it's a massive bottle. It's like a Costco sized bottle of Woodford Reserve. So as the you'll be able to track my declining Woodford Reserve liquor supply. All right, Adam from Australia. Cool. Question. I'm building a tiny house on wheels, which will have a power wall. Will I be able to charge my Cybertruck from my power wall and vice versa? Definitely yes to the first one. We do not know yet about the second one. TBD. So I'm going to talk about that probably a little bit here. I got to go close my door. I forgot to close my office door here. Everyone, hang on. All right. So, hello. I do not, Mark, I don't even understand your comment. What does that even mean? I like 35-year-old Suntory Hibiki. Dude, that's some exotic stuff. If I can't buy my liquor down at the local where I get my gas, it's too much for me. Or who knows? Let's see. You're not late? Wait, can't you see me? You can't see? Can you not see me on the screen? Hey, surfer dude. Okay. So we are going today. We're going to start with Josh. All right. Can y'all see this? I got to turn. This is weird because now there's like 2 screens of me. So I figured out how to do this. I got to go in here and turn off this. And now there's just 2 screens here. Okay. Good. Now, hey everyone, this is Josh. Josh, go ahead and say something.
Oh, hey.
All right. Now,
Hey,
hopefully you can hear both of us. But Josh is actually, so I'm not sure how many of you guys saw the, okay, can't see anything. Yeah, there's like a little bit of a lag. There's like a 10-second lag from when I say stuff in my computer until when you actually hear stuff. I'm going to turn, I got Josh turned all the way up now. So I'm not sure how many of y'all saw my most recent video, but I did a video on how the Cybertruck would change my life if I got it tomorrow. And Josh and I kind of collaborated on this video. Josh is over at, he used to be Nicola Garage, but you know, y'all know how Nicola's been going lately. So he was thinking about changing the name of his channel anyway. So it's NXT or Next Garage. But Josh and I have kind of been talking back and forth. I personally think he's got the best Cybertruck video yet still made. On stainless steel, the Cybertruck in stainless steel. Literally, it's my personal favorite Cybertruck video so far. And I like probably watch it once a month so I can feel ashamed at the quality of my video production. Anyway, mine fits my style. So, but we did this. We were trying to think of a video that might be kind of interesting to do, and what's interesting about Josh is he's a car guy. I'm a truck guy. And so we thought we'd come at the Cybertruck from different angles. And the reason I wanted to have him on tonight was to talk a little bit about, it's been my observation, and this is kind of anecdotal. I would be really curious if you guys would put in the chat whether or not whether or not the Cybertruck will be your first truck or whether you've owned other trucks in the past, because it's been my observation that a significant percentage of Cybertruck reservation holders are first time truck buyers. And so I wanted to get Josh on because I wanted to talk a little bit about kind of his where he's coming from in terms of being a car guy switching over or contemplating. He still hasn't made a decision yet, but he really likes the Cybertruck. So I thought it'd be kind of interesting to talk about this. So, I told you, Josh, the what I was going to ask you, right, yesterday. So here's the question: are you a reservation holder yet?
No, not yet. Yeah.
So why? Tell me why you're not a reservation holder and what it would take for you to become one.
So the biggest thing is, if you watch my video, I drive old cars,
Yep.
and part of that is I'm pretty conservative fiscally. So I tend to always buy used cars. I don't like to spend a lot on my cars. I don't like car payments, things like that. It's not just the Cybertruck. It would be really any new car for me is kind of like a little bit scary. What it would take is for me to, and I think you have some really good videos on this, Todd, where you discuss the ways, you can actually make money off of a Cybertruck.
Yeah.
Is working through more of those details to get it to the point where the thing pays for itself. And I definitely, I'm thinking through some ways on that. I haven't yet convinced myself on that, so I need to get a little bit further. But that's really the only thing. So it has nothing to do with the Cybertruck as a truck or as a car.
So if you were gonna buy a new vehicle, would it be a Cybertruck? Or are you still not to the point where if you were, so is it just, so from that end, you would get a Cybertruck?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, I would definitely get a Tesla, and of all the Teslas, the Cybertruck is the most appealing.
Uh,
Even though I'm coming from a
Halls,
Tesla.
I got some people saying they can't hear you. Who can,
Am I not? Am I
no
not on
one
mute?
can hear you? Hold
Let
on.
me play with the volume a little.
I've got all my volumes turned up. I don't think that's my microphone. That's not
Okay,
going to
so
help.
if I just turned mine up, is it coming through louder for you now?
Okay. Guest
Is
volume way
this
too
is
low.
this any better?
Okay, let's see. There's a little bit of a lag here, so we'll see. Um, yeah, let's see here. Keep talking, Josh. Let
Okay.
me.
Is this
I can hear
okay?
him.
Barely quiet. Okay, I need to talk louder maybe.
Yeah,
Cybertruck's a toaster.
they're comparing it to me, and I'm a loud talker, so you're gonna have to
Okay.
talk. I guess maybe try talking louder. Todd,
Which
let
one
me.
is
Okay,
better?
I'll turn mine down a little bit. Maybe that'll help.
Okay, and then you can turn me up.
Yeah.
I
Okay,
think
I
I have
turned
this
mine
up to as
down.
loud as I have mine up as loud as I can dare. So I don't want to go much higher here.
Okay. All right. So here, that I one thing that I was mentioning to you, but so according to Elon, the cost of running a robotaxi is going to be about 19 cents a mile, and the cost of just fuel alone, I think, is going to be. Did you figure out what your per mile cost was on fuel, or did you just do it by the month?
On fuel or electric?
On fuel.
I didn't do it per mile. I'm trying to think. So if I do, I think it was like $15 a day and 150. So it's about what? No, boy, for an engineer, I can't do math.
Oh well, my perspective. So the thing that well, I'm not sure if I told everyone this, but the reason I decided when I reserved a Cybertruck, my thinking was I was going to keep it as a second car. I was going to try and rent it out and use. I thought I could make enough money on the side to actually cover the payment of it. So that when I looked at the math, and Elon was saying a robotaxi is going to cost about 18 cents a mile, 19 cents a mile. Figure maybe an extra
Mm-hmm.
5 cents because it's a bigger vehicle. You're still looking at more than half, you're saving more than half the cost to go with a Cybertruck than going with a conventional vehicle. So let's see here. La, la, la.
Let me.
Yeah, they're saying they can't hear
Yeah.
you.
They said
Crap.
they. I just. Let me change. I just changed my microphone here. Let me see if that changes anything.
All
So I
right.
went to the system microphone.
All right.
Let's turn that up a little way. So I think I'm on my system microphone as loud as I can go. So maybe that'll. We'll wait around here. Sorry about this, guys.
Yeah, well, it's probably my fault. Yeah.
We thought we had it all ready to go, and I guess we didn't.
Yeah, the problem is that we didn't have an audience when we were trying to test it. So
Yeah.
if I guess my question for you is, um, do you see a scenario, even though you're used to using buying older vehicles, where you can make the math work to get a Cybertruck?
Yes, yes, yeah, and I think in my video, so the first thing I did was go through the costs there, and it was actually only, assuming I could put down a decent amount, it was only about $330 a month more than my current car. So that's really the difference that I would be making up there. So that's not a huge difference. I would have to find a way of making that up, monetarily. So um, whether it's through Toro or things like you're mentioning, I think that's definitely doable.
So, does it bother you at all thinking about big driving around a bigger vehicle, parking, any of the other issues that people are frequently saying? Does it really just boil down to cost?
Yeah, it's really just that. No, I mean, my garage here is super tiny. I can't even fit my car in. So yeah, I will be parking on the street. So it's not like, I don't, I am in town. It's kind of a little bit of a different circumstance, but that doesn't really concern me too much. Because I really don't think it is bigger. It might be a little bit bigger than a regular, like an F-150 or something, but it's not going to be that much bigger. Um, so no, the size doesn't concern me. And
All right.
actually, I like that because it gives me more room to haul things around.
Well, I wasn't planning on going here, but I'm going to mention this before we wrap up. But one of the things that we were looking at briefly before we went live was the issue of the cargo rack. I know I'm throwing you on the spot here, but there's been a lot of questions about whether or not we think the Cybertruck will be able to host a cargo rack. And for those of you who, Josh is actually a mechanical engineer, and so him and I were getting out some of the pictures and we were looking at it, and he sees a pretty viable pathway for putting a roof rack on the Cybertruck. So I'm curious, just based on our conversation before we went here, what are you thinking in that regard?
Yeah, so we were looking at some pictures there on the sail. So you have the big triangular piece above the bed. Um, Really, it seems like you need to mount on the top edges of that, so that you don't obstruct the sliding vault cover. And but that really shouldn't be a huge issue. We were looking at some renders, or they may have been
I'm going to
photographs
pull it
of
up here real quick.
prototype, and you can actually see some. The one I think Todd thought was the switches for the cover, but I noticed another little cover up near the point of the roof, or actually it's right at the top of the bed, and I believe that could be a cover that you would remove to mount a rack into that point. Because we were looking at the kind of like the, what do you call it, the hidden image of the roof rack.
Yeah, this is so I'm showing it, and I'm sorry guys here, but when I click on this, you can't actually see it. But this image was on the reveal and in one of the slides, and you can kind of see the rack up here and how it sort of ties into the truck. So anyway, go ahead, Josh.
Yeah, and I mean, I really think since that entire structure is structural, it's all a frame. Even if you do have to drill into it, it really should be strong enough to hold anything. I mean, it's all quite thick stainless steel from 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 what we know at least.
All right. Well, apparently we're still having audio issues, so we're probably going to have to wrap this up. I apologize, but I think it will show up in the video afterwards. So, and I'm recording this on my own, so I'll get it in there even if it doesn't. So I'm gonna go ahead and let you go for now, and
Yeah.
we'll have to try and figure out how to improve the audio next time. Sorry about that.
Okay. Yeah. No, I'll stick around in the chat and
All
answer
right.
questions if you want.
Thanks, man.
Yep.
All right. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Okay. So sorry about that, guys. Bummer. But yeah, let's go. I want to talk. So next thing I want to talk about is let's see here. So I want to talk about Battery Day, and let's see. I was just gonna mention a few of the things that. So Battery Day, I don't have anything to add. I don't have any. Hold on. Let me get my. There we go. So I don't have anything to add in terms of like what to expect. I'm not a battery engineer. I don't know anything about that. What I do know is what I'm hoping that is going to get revealed in Battery Day. So one of the things, and I'm going to talk about this in a second, I'd like to know whether or not there's a plan for pull-through chargers. So with the Cybertruck, you can see here, here's a rendering, and I'm going to talk about this in a second. There was a story that there's a new supercharger station being built in California that looks like it might be the first large supercharger station that will have pull-throughs in it. And I'm skeptical based on looking at things. I'll get into that in a second. But one of the things I'm looking for is supercharger or supercharger pull-throughs. That's going to be a big deal. That's a big deal, obviously, with semi, but it's a big deal with people that are towing with the Cybertruck. I don't think they have to be everywhere. I don't think there has to be pull-throughs everywhere. I think if people know they're being built, there's going to be some patience with it. And I think that's what has me really interested about this story about this new supercharger station. I'll talk about that in a second. Point number 2 that I'm really hoping for is bi-directional dynamic charging. So somebody asked about 50 markets. I think it's 56 or 58 charging stalls. So there are currently 2 or 3 50 stall charging stations in China, but this will be the biggest super charging station in the world, and certainly the biggest in North America. But dynamic bi-directional charging. So here's the thing. A lot of people are concerned about Cybertruck range when towing. And I've done several videos about extending the range using either a generator or using auxiliary batteries. Or I'm increasingly interested in a Tesla developed trailer battery or trailer battery chassis that they sell. And I talked about some of this when I talked about the accessory power rankings, which I think I'm going to be doing that video next week, depending on what Battery Day is like. I might do one on Battery Day if I think there's enough interesting Cybertruck information about it, but I'm not going to be rehashing. There's going to be a zillion other people doing those. So unless I feel like I have something unique to contribute based on the Cybertruck, I'll probably do the accessory power ranking video next week. And I'm going to talk about the integrated towable battery system that I think Tesla needs to develop. But that won't work unless there's a system to accept charge while the vehicle is moving. And so when I say dynamic, that's what I'm talking about. Dynamic means whether it's coming from a solar panel on the roof, or whether it's coming from a generator, or whether it's coming from an auxiliary battery, there needs to be, in my opinion, there needs to be a system for dynamically adding range to the battery system. And that's going to be unique. So I'm hopeful that they have something like this. And The last thing that I'm interested in is the million mile battery, if that gets announced. But beyond that, I'm just looking forward to it. Now, I am curious if you guys have anything that you're interested in particular about Battery Day. Like, is there anything? Yeah, well, okay, Mark, good point. This is where a lot of people have wondered about Tesla licensing or reselling batteries to competitors, and which is fine. I mean, a lot of people are speculating that it's going to happen, but I'm thinking that the step forward should be something like auxiliary batteries, or something like putting a battery in an Airstream, or putting a battery in another. There's all kinds of trailer systems that are out there, and if Tesla can make it so that people can tow if their towing rig has batteries, then I think, man, it's going to be a breakthrough. And to me, that's what I'm most excited about. So let's see. Okay, that's enough about that. Let's talk about this station. So initially, I got really excited about this. So Rob Maurer over at Tesla Daily Podcast released this, and it was actually from an electric leak. Not a leak, but they discovered that there is this battery station being built in Central California that looks like it might have pass-throughs in it. And I'm going to show you. So everyone went crazy about this because it's kind of a unique, it's definitely unique because of the quantity. It's like 56 stations. So let me show you a map of it. Okay, so the reason why I got originally excited is that if you look here, these look like they're a pass-through. And on Rob's video and on the electric article and some of the other things, people were speculating that this is going to be the first large supercharger station with pass-through in it. But here's my concern. Let's see if the images are here. Shoot. I thought I must have. Well, you can go. So anyway, the Tesla, what's this called? Tesla Motors Club. They have a thread on this. And yeah, I think it's this one, number 5. Okay. So this kind of bummed me out because when you look at it from this angle, it does not look like these are passed through. And I really wanted them to be passed through, but man, I'm looking at this gap here. I don't think you're going to be able to drive in and make the corner and pull through that. So I'm kind of bummed out because at least based on what I would be willing to pull a trailer through, unless I had a real wide area to swing it out wide, I can't see this being a pass through, this gap. Now, I don't have the actual details, but I don't think this is wide enough. So that is unfortunately what I'm hoping to see is that they're going to start building out the mega charger superstructure or supercharger network. So they promised when they started doing the semis that they were going to do these mega chargers. And my theory is that they're going to do them at truck stops, or they're going to do them places where truck stops are. And it just so happens that people that are doing long hauling are on those same pathways. And so if they start building these mega chargers out and these pull-throughs out, I actually think it will really help Cybertruck to get more buy-in around the towing issue. Alternately, if they do the auxiliary battery thing, that would also help because then people can add range that way. Or the dynamic system. I know a bunch of you guys get mad at me when I talk about using a generator, but the reality is that people who use trucks for towing are going to want to have a system so that they don't have to charge every 160 or 180 miles. And if they do charge, they want to be able to pull through. And otherwise, some of these, they're going to have to disconnect. So anyway, 1,000, do you mean 1,000 miles per hour? 86? I don't think you mean 1,000 miles per hour. I think you mean maybe 1,000 miles of range. 1,000 miles per hour, you're going to have to go to Mars, my friend, to get that kind of speed. Let's see. What if the trailer is over? Well, okay. Battery regen on the trailer only works if you have a battery on the trailer. You have to have a battery on the trailer. You have to have, I don't think they're going to do powered trailers. That doesn't make sense to me. I mean, you have plenty of power in the Cybertruck. Some people have suggested like power assist. You know how electric, I don't know if you've ridden electric bikes, but like electric bikes, some of them have pedal assist. And you could do something like that in a trailer, but man, I think that's an expense. Like, just do bi-directional power. Just make it so I can charge a battery system on the trailer and use the motors in the Cybertruck. It's such a simple solution. All right, so let's see here. I don't think, Mark. I don't think those are pull through. You can. I mean, they don't look wide enough. Let's see. Any other battery trailer? Da, 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 da. Yeah, there's more chargers than Kettleman. Okay. So, yeah, that's it. Okay, I don't have anything else about that. Now, let's go to... All right. This is... So I'm going to play this video here. You should be able to get the audio on this. This is the new video. I want to talk about alternative steering. So most of us have heard about, or a lot of people have asked me about this crab mode of the GMC Hummer or other forms. So I want to talk about alternate steering methods. So let's take a look at this video here from Chevy about the Hummer. Okay. I sat here for a day trying to figure out if there was ever a time when I've been off-roading that I would want to use this feature. And I could only think of one scenario where I would have found this feature useful. But I don't want to get hung up on this particular feature. I feel like this is more of... Now, if some of you guys have a different opinion on this, that's great. I can't figure out where I'd want to use this except for one scenario, which I'll talk about here in a second. But what I want to do is just show you, let me just go back here and show this. What I want you to watch is this back tire here. Back. Okay, did you see that? They both turn. So that to me is the important thing about this, not crab mode. So let me tell you the one scenario I can think of where I would want this crab mode. Let me finish this. Yeah, that doesn't... Okay, I thought they were going to show an aerial of it. All right, let's... Okay, so the only scenario I can think where crab mode would be useful, sometimes when you're off-roading, there's a washout that you can't traverse. And you need to actually get up on the hill, and you need to climb up on the hill and go around it. Now, the way I've done that in the past is I actually back up so I can get some momentum. Because if you go slowly across those hill traverses, you'll slide down. And so you kind of need to use momentum to hold you up against the hill in order to get up and around and over onto the other side. Now I could see crab mode being useful to creep up on the side of the hill and keeping the tires rotating to keep me from sliding back down the hill into a washout or a gully or something that I was trying to traverse. But other than that, I, for the life of me, couldn't think of when I would want that mode. Now, Would I want four-wheel steering? Okay, this is what I wanted to talk about. So here's the thing. I thought about this a bunch when I was thinking about how to approach this. There are some four-wheel steering enthusiasts in my community, in the community, that have talked to me about like the Prelude and some of the other four-wheel steering things. And I understand that. So the reason four-wheel steering is a big advantage, where the tires can turn in different directions, is that you can get a much tighter turning radius with four-wheel steering. And I get that, and I understand that, and I see the value to it. The question is, when you compare it to the alternate steering methods. So let's talk about the alternates. Okay, let's see if there's any questions about this. Anyway, yeah, GM had the four-wheel steering on the Tahoe, right? I can't remember what it was on. Yes, John M. That's exactly what I'm going to cover here in a second. Let's see. Just to the cat math. Looks like the new Roadrunner cell. Yeah, yeah. All right. Crab mode is great use on insurgents. You're not being very politically correct. Okay. Alternate steering. When you're not, you can steer besides using a steering wheel. And, or you can enhance what a steering wheel can do just by pivoting the front tires. So the first thing is, this is not a new technology. It's only new it's only not in popular use for vehicles. But I want to show this because now a lot of you guys have probably already seen this, but let's watch the Rivian tank turn. This is the thing I like about the Rivian the most. Okay, I'm not going to go through the whole video. Tank turn. So what is that? Tank turn is, instead of the wheels turning like this, you just have the wheels counter rotating, right? So one side is going forward, the other side is going backward. If you were to ask me, which steering would I prefer to have? Like if I had to pick one or the other, and I know because this has 4 motors, I understand that's not an option, probably not an option with the Cybertruck, even the tri-motor. I get that. I'm going somewhere with this, so just bear with me. The problem is that four-wheel steering is complicated. I think John just said, John M said, very complicated for rare use. Four-wheel steering is, in the world of heavy equipment, there are machines that do four-wheel steering. So skid steers, Bobcats. I don't know how many people know equipment here, but there are a bunch of different types of skid steer models. To my memory, there is only one model of one brand that has adopted four-wheel steering. All the other skid steers out there just use counter-rotating tires. It lets you do a zero turn in a very limited space. And the advantages that four-wheel steering gives you, to some extent, is that you can do it at a higher speed. But you can do the same thing with something called torque vectoring, where you don't need the tires to counter-rotate. You just need, say, the right side to turn a little bit faster than the left side. And you can actually even do this by applying the brakes. So I wanted to show you this in one of my early videos, which I haven't watched it in a long freaking time. I did one on this and I went back and watched it. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's not very good, but whatever, it is what it is. But I showed this video and I want to show you this because this is something the Cybertruck can do. Definitely the tri-motor can do, and I don't see any reason. I don't know. I'm not a mechanical engineer, but I want to show you something called a tractor turn or a pivot turn. This is, you guys all know this is a regular old tractor, okay? The way you do a tractor turn or a pivot turn is all you do is you lock up one of the back tires and then you just let the other one roll. Okay, so let me show this. Okay, look at how tight that back is. So my whole point was that so it's all about trade-offs, right? Four-wheel steering is kind of expensive. It's never gotten very much widespread use because there's so many moving parts to it, and it's complicated because you can't just have it on all the time. Otherwise, you would overcorrect when you steer. So you have to have it. You have to have you can, but you have to have it built into the brain of the car to know when you want it, when you want to turn really hard, and when you don't. With torque vectoring, you can achieve the same thing just by slowing down one side and doing a pivot turn like that, and you get 80% of the range of motion. And I even think you might even be able to turn tighter with that than you would by using four-wheel steering to turn. It never is taken off. No, but everyone that's done it, even in the heavy equipment world, the only place it's taken off with heavy equipment, and I was going to show you this, was, I thought I had it. The only place it's taken off is with a very specific application with these forklifts. Man, let me see. There was a really cool video on this here. Oh, there it is. Okay. All right. Do you guys see that? Okay. You see how it kind of drifts? Why it keeps the front end in the same place? This is the only application that I'm aware of, widespread, that this is used. So these telehandlers, they're these forklifts. They're huge forklifts that lift really big loads. And the only reason that this kind of alternate steering is important to them is that they're lifting a load into specific, like they're facing a building and they need to be able to lift the load up, and they need to not change the orientation relative to the building. So, and they can creep forward like that and lift the load up, and that's an advantage for using it. I kept looking. I kept trying to find, like, what is an application for it? This is the only machine I know of that uses four-wheel steering consistently across a bunch of different manufacturers because it has a specific application. Now, if you know anything about heavy equipment, front-end loaders kind of have four-wheel steering, but they don't do it by pivoting the wheels. They have a hinge in the middle of them, and the machine itself bends, and it achieves four-wheel steering advantage, but it doesn't change the angle of the wheels. It changes the actual angle of the machine itself at two axes. So it lets it twist and turn, and that works really, really well. But I just don't see it. I don't see four-wheel steering. Okay, so what's my whole point of this? If you asked me, if you said, Todd, if you had $4,000 of budget and you were going to apply that in a truck to either four-wheel steering or active dynamic air suspension, I'd pick the air suspension every freaking time. I think this is a situation where Tesla looked at it, and they could still do four-wheel steering, I suppose. But I think they looked at it and they're like, I have a feeling they're going to do something like torque vectoring where they can, I don't know if they'll actually be able to counter rotate the tires, but they'll be able to do like that pivot turn where they can lock up one side and push on the other and create a tight turning feature without adding any cost. And then they can spend the money on the air suspension. The air suspension, I'm telling y'all, that's the game changer. The air suspension is totally transforms using a truck. It's gonna make it comfortable, very capable off-road. Give it all kinds of features. It's not a niche application. You're gonna love your air suspension every day of every week in every application you use it. Whether you're going off-roading, whether you're going on a road trip, whether you're driving around town, whether you're going out to a freaking track and trying to do figure eights with it. The air suspension is the absolute game changer. If Tesla can nail the dynamic air suspension, game over. Game over. And I actually went and looked. I don't see anyone doing the air suspension. I think Nikola said they were going to do it, but yeah, we all know about that. Rivian is using hydraulics, and I went and looked at the Hummer. It's not they haven't set. Like the Hummer official reveal is 1020. I don't know. Is someone else using air suspension? I don't know. I think that they spent the money the right way by putting it into air suspension and not dicking around with four-wheel steering. Personal opinion. Okay. Yeah, Brian, I would say I can do everything. I can do more with counter-rotating tires and torque vectoring than I can with four-wheel steering because air suspension. I would much rather have the air suspension. Yeah, I'm concerned about its reliability. That's my biggest concern. I think I've said that already. My biggest concern is the dynamic air suspension reliability. So here's what I'm believing. They've been doing air suspensions for a while. I think they're extremely committed to the air suspension. I think that they're spending a crap ton of money, not just on the Cybertruck, but also on the S and the X, to perfect the air suspension for multiple use cases. I do think there's a possibility that the initial air suspension there might be warranty issues with it. But like I said, any of you guys that are like early on, I'll gladly swap my reservation. I'm confident. Overall, when I look at what Sandy Munro has to say about the dramatic increase in the build quality and the attention to detail that Tesla is achieving, I feel very optimistic that they're going to work out the air suspension. And so a number of you have asked me about this, and I have a sneaky suspicion that there's a possibility that they might also be playing around with magnets in the suspension. It just stands to reason, right? They're messing around with magnets and electronics, electric, all this other stuff. Magnetic suspension has been out there. Being able to, it just seems like I don't know enough about mechanical engineering. So you guys that know this stuff, I'm speaking out of my ass kind of on this. But I am saying magnets and suspension have been a thing for like 15 years. There is a very, at least in my own brain, I can totally see how you could incorporate a combination of magnets and air to achieve something freaking incredible. So anyway, I don't know. It could just be straight air suspension and that would be fine. I have a belief that they're going to work it out. I think that some of the limitations of air suspension, like lack of wheel travel, is going to be able to be addressed through the robot brain. I think it's going to be able to dynamically change the pressure of the air cylinders quickly enough that you're going to get way better off-road performance from that air suspension than just like static air suspensions or just air suspensions that use regular, like they're not using a Tesla computer to run them. I know about that. I'm mentioning magnets because I know about the Cadillac one and I know about the Bosch one, and I think it's super cool. and I'm hopeful. It seems like it, man. It seems like it should work. All right. Ba, 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 ba. Any? Yeah, I'm in Kansas City. Ray. Ba. Yep, they already have an air suspension. I don't know what Haas is, Mark. Yeah, Nikola is vaporware. I would say they are until they prove otherwise, and I'm not betting on it. Ba, 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 ba. Yeah, in my original video, I'm in the landscape business, so I talked about zero turn mowers, and I had them on my video. I feel like I need to redo that video now because, man, it's disappointing to go back and watch some of my early videos. Okay. Yeah, forklifts. You're talking about Surfer Dude. You're talking about the warehouse forklifts. I'm talking. These forklifts I'm talking about are outdoor forklifts. They're called telehandlers. They have like loads up to 20 or 30,000 pounds. I think, I don't know, Mark. I don't know enough about engineering to know about how you can tank turn with 3 motors. I hope they can. GM will put, yeah, maybe. We'll see. I would love to see the Badger get built. I think I bet somebody. I know I bet somebody a 6-pack that they would get built. I can't remember who it is, and I know you're all going to say it was me. No, somebody, I can't remember who it was, but I think I'm going to owe somebody a 6-pack at the meetup. Yeah. Okay. All right. So let's see here. What else did I want to talk about? What was my last thing that I was going to talk about tonight? What I had up my notes here. Oh, Bosnia. Okay. Bosnian. I should have just followed my tabs. Okay.
Zanimljiva je bila anegdota, cura sa jednim džipom je stala i govori, jel se tu proizvodi? Mi govorimo, jeste, tu je proizvodnja Cybera. To je znači auto nije identična replika iz razloga što je ovo benzin, a Tesla je struja. Iskopirali, pokušali jesmo iskopirati maksimalno koliko smo mogli, ali naše auto gabaritnosti nije identično kao Cybertruck. A proizvodnja Cybertrucka trajala je 8 mjeseci, a trebala je biti 4. Korona nas je prolongirala, a naručitelj inače vlasnik.
I think that's so. Now, that's them, right? They did this. It was super cool. I don't even know what kind of company they are. They're some kind of a design company. I probably could have looked more, but they said, what's interesting, they said the hardest part was making the doors. I don't know why. But then there was also this, and I'm sure you all saw this. This was that Hacksmith. Where is that? So this is the Hacksmith Cybertruck that they built, that they did the little towing challenge with the Ford. I'm sure you guys probably saw this.
Yeah! Look at this! Half-scale Cybertruck for the win!
So they built this little mini Cybertruck. Anyway, that's not the point of this video. The point was... I got to put that... Here we go. Okay, so the point was that I was wanting to make with this was... Give me an example of any other vehicle where people with relatively basic tools could build a replica of a vehicle that looks basically like the vehicle itself. Now, when you get right up on it, it's obviously not the Cybertruck. And you can even see from this perspective, some of the, it's obvious it's not a Cybertruck when you really look at it. But My point of this is not the quality of their replica or the quality of Hacksmith's replica. The point of it is that these replicas demonstrate to me something shocking, which is how simple it's going to be to make these things relative to a regular pickup. It's one thing when Sandy Monroe comes on and he says, I don't know if you guys have seen that from his Autoline After Hours interview that he did right kind of after the Cybertruck was revealed. But he basically was like, hey, I think it's going to, if you built a line of assembly line to make the Cybertruck, it would cost you $30 million that could produce 50,000 units per year. To build that same assembly line for an F-150, it would cost you, I want to say it was $150 million. And, it might have been like 90 million plus 100 million for the paint booth. It was some insane number for paint. I had no idea. Paint plants cost what they cost, but it was like more than the cost to actually build the truck plant. That was mind blowing. But my point is, when you think about this, and you think about, I think about this a lot. How long is it going to be till I get my MF and Cybertruck? I feel like the constraint's going to be batteries. If people can build Cybertrucks in their shop with brake presses and welders, and they're just not that complicated. Now, here's the other thing that I think about. Why did no one else ever do this? Why? It's so obvious in hindsight to me. And the funny thing is, nobody's new trucks that they've come out with are like this either. No one still thinks this will work. Now, maybe XPeng, their Chinese company that basically mimics everything Tesla does, I'll bet XPeng does a Cybertruck because they just their vehicles just look like Tesla knockoffs. But to me, that's so amazing because here you have something that's so simple, so easy to make, relatively speaking. And yet, I think everyone's going to be too proud to just knock them off, except XPeng. They'll just do it. They'll just be like, those, I don't know if you've ever been in New York where they have I haven't been to New York in 10 years, but used to be you could go to New York and there'd be all these people on the side selling Gucci lookalikes and Rolex that look just like it. Because if you're shameless, there's going to be shameless people that make Cybertruck replicas. But I don't know that any of the legitimate companies or the I'll call them quote unquote legitimate, I don't know that they're going to do it. I think they're going to go to their grave just being it's ugly and it's dumb. It's too simple. It's not whatever. I'm just amazed at how simple the Cybertruck is. And I think it's going to mean we all get our Cybertrucks fast, really fast. Because now I'm starting to get optimistic about batteries. I was thinking, man, it's going to be a while. But now I'm thinking, I don't think it's going to be a while. I think they're going to start banging these things out. And that's why I think, one of the things I wanted to try and incorporate with Josh was this idea that the Cybertruck is totally expanding the truck market. And it's so flexible as a utilitarian vehicle that there's going to be so many new people coming in just to get the Cybertruck and not other vehicles, but just the Cybertruck because of, I will just say, the tonneau cover, the integrated bed, hopefully the pass-through. It's going to take people that are SUV people, car people like Josh, and truck people. And I really do think the Cybertruck is going to do within probably 3 or 4 years. I think it's going to be able to do 6, 8, 900,000 units a year, because the only constraint's batteries, and Tesla's getting ready to ramp up, and they're going to be able to churn these things out. Now, of course, it's going to mean probably that they're not as, one of the cool things I like about it is it's going to be unique, and probably in another 10 years, they're going to be everywhere. But my whole point is, I think they're going to be able to crank these things out so fast. We're going to get our Cybertruck soon. And I don't really care. I don't care if there's 1 million of them a year getting built. I just want mine. I just want to go out and beat it up and take it off road and go fast and have fun. That's what I want. I want as many people to join the party as possible. So anyway, that's all. I think that's all I got. Unless there are questions or comments or anything. Let's see. Let me go through here and look. Better if you have. We're almost to an hour anyway. Okay, but if you have anything you want me to cover, or you want to say it now. Speak now, or hold your peace until next week. I'm sure next week's going to be fun with Battery Day. Let's look. So Hacksmith sell this Mini to Radio Flyer. What? I don't know what that means, Ray. Hey Ray. I am super curious about your trip that you guys are planning to go to. I can't remember what it is now. I know when you say it, I'll remember. But I've been thinking about this. So Ray, this is what I've been thinking about. I remember that you are planning to do a trip to on that super cool Australian trail that's really popular that escapes my mind right now, and that you were thinking about a portable solar assembly that you were going to take with you. And I was really curious if you've actually done the math on that. I've been thinking about doing a video on a portable, like how many solar panels would it take to do some kind of cool off-road trip where you could charge from just solar panels. So seeing your name made me think about that. So I'm really curious about that. And I'm especially, now I know you're Simpson. Yeah, Simpson. Okay. So, but I'm especially thinking about, I did that trip to Arkansas last week, and my truck was basically parked big chunks of the day while we were messing around in the river and doing stuff. And I was thinking it'd be really cool to figure out how much space, how much weight, like how long it would take to put up the array, take it down. That's one of the things I really want Tesla to do, is build a new kind of portable solar device array that's configured so that it, like, you can store it in the Cybertruck really simply. You can put it up. It's like plug and play, so you can like pop it out and plug it in. So anyway, I'm really interested in kind of like a no-cost adventure trip where you use solar and then you built it around like stops where you could be there for a day to get charged up. And I know you've already been thinking about that. So I just think it's a fun topic. Okay. Let's see. 300 watts each. 1.2 kilowatt hour. 4 by... Do you know how much that will cost? All right, let's see. Okay. Yeah. Cyberquad. I have really mixed emotions about the Cyberquad. I think it's going to be... Man, I'm concerned. I'm wondering how long you're going to be able to drive that thing. I'm afraid that it's going to be like 30 minutes and then you're going to have to charge it, because I don't know how much battery it's going to be able to hold. I guess I would love to see what they do. Let's see. Ray, shoot me an email. Cybertruck. What is it? Cybertruckguy@gmail.com. Let's see. I have Okay. I don't think there's anything else. I think we kind of covered everything. Okay. Yeah, I think that's it for tonight. We're rolling at 9 o'clock. So, yeah, depending on what Battery Day does, I think I'm going to start working on the accessory power rankings video, and I'll either release that next week or the week after. I'm a little concerned that Battery Day is going to leave anything I create in a shadow for like a week. So I'm just trying to figure out what I want to do for next week as far as the video. But we'll definitely be here next week to talk about Battery Day and any other stuff that pops up on the news. I feel like the pace of news has been kind of picking up about the Cybertruck and especially with Battery Day. So I don't know if it's always like if I have something to talk about, we talk about it. If not, we skip or we just do a short one. But I'm kind of looking forward to next week with Battery Day. So I think it's going to be a fun one. Okay. I think that's it. We're at an hour. And I will be talking about I'll be talking about a bunch of accessories. I'll probably talk about like things like side mirrors in my accessory power ranking video, but in a different way than you're asking about. So, because I have thoughts about that. That's why I kind of went through the accessory power rankings a week or two ago, because I'm starting to develop a philosophy around accessories with the Cybertruck that I'm open to having it changed, but I'm headed in a certain direction that will infect my opinion about all the other accessories that people are interested in. Okay, so blah, blah, blah. I think that's it. We'll catch you next week. I hope Battery Day is exciting. I'm going to be like in the chat of the Limited Factors live stream while I can, because obviously it's going to be happening during a workday. So, but I'll probably be popping into his live stream. So if any of you guys are wondering, that's where I'll be watching. I'll be watching his stream of Battery Day. If I'm watching it, that's where I'll be watching it. That's the way I should say that. Okay. Other than that, go check out Josh's channel. We didn't get to talk much about it. Sorry about that, but he's doing some cool takes on Cybertruck and electric vehicles. That's where he's headed, and I really like his channel. So anyway, that's it. Well, we'll talk to you next week. Bye.